حد من الأخوات يرد عليا. إشارة ريكوردينج في أعلى الصف على عينكم.
From the screen bar
تمام.
From the gallery enter full screen meeting
معاكم إن شاء الله البرزنتيشن وأبدأ أشرح إن شاء الله.
Closed. Open. Participants. Share screen button. Open. From note 8 to everyone. Record button. From B. From El-Hallaq to everyone. H. Aim. Reactions button. Record button. Record button. From Sarah Akron. From them in the world to everyone. Am I the only one? Isra Hampton has. Hey, Eamon has left the meeting minute. From Sarah Akron to everyone.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Reactions button. Meeting information button. From El-Hallaq.
Today we are going to start the analysis of the play. I assume that you already watched the 2 lectures before, and today we will start with the structure of the play. I mean that what happens in the plot, I sent them in 2 previous videos, and I asked you to read them. And now I'm going to start the analysis, which is actually going to be subject for the questions if we have final exams. All the students are required during this session to put mute on their audios. Why? Because in order to prevent any kind of disturbance while we are explaining. Tell me first, do you see the presentation? If you see the presentation, write into the chat and say, yes, we see the presentation.
From Sarah Akron to every speech mode.
Well, the structure of the play is a traditional structure. Some people, they consider Othello as Shakespeare's most perfect structured play. I repeat again, why most perfect structured play? For 2 reasons. The first reason why it is the best structured play, it is that it has only 1 plot. Most of the plays of William Shakespeare, they have more than 1 plot. They have a major plot and a subplot. But in Othello, we have only 1 plot, which is the plot of Othello, Iago, but we don't have any subplot at all. This is the first reason. The second reason, because it is structured according to the structure of Aristotle, Aristotelian structure. Because of these 2 reasons, it is considered as one of the most perfectly structured plays. 1, because we have 1 plot. The second one, why? Because we have a structure which is a traditional structure. This traditional structure, we call it Aristotelian structure. Well, fine. Let's see. So we say it is tightly organized. I mean, organized around 1 plot. We don't have sub-stories. In Hamlet, we found more than 1 story, right? When we discussed before, the story of Hamlet and the story of Desdemona and her own father, right? And in Macbeth, we have also 2 plots. In King Lear, we have 2 plots. But in Othello, we have only 1 plot, and this plot is the story of Othello himself. This is the first reason, and the second reason, as I told you, that it has Aristotelian structure. Well, Shakespeare created this play according to the classic structure. So here we have 2 reasons. The first one, which is in red here. Do you see it? Please tell me that you see it and you see me. You see the presentation. and right, you also follow my voice. Please, anyone? Zaina Murtaja, please. Zaina. Zaina, unmute. Lara?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes. No,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
I see the presentation, doctor.
Can you see the presentation in front of you?
Yes. We
Okay,
can
can
see.
you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So shall I proceed? Well, fine. So we said why it is considered Shakespeare's most perfectly structured play for two reasons. The first one, this one, which is it is tightly organized and never, I mean that it has only one plot, a plot. The second reason is that the one which is written in blue here, that we have only, all right, a structure, a traditional structure. This traditional structure is Aristotelian structure. Well, so we will want to analyze this structure. We want to analyze it. So we are going to explain first the exposition and what happens in the exposition according to Aristotle. Then the second part, the falling action, the rising action, the falling action, and right, the catastrophe. Well, in the exposition, where can we start? I mean, where exactly, right, exposition is? The exposition starts with act number one. Act number one, right? And we have a number of scenes, and these number of scenes, they introduce the characters to us. They introduce their relationships to one another. We know who is good and who is evil. We are introduced to Iago. We are introduced to Desdemona. We are introduced to Othello, and so on. And also we are introduced to the major problem. What is the major problem? Which is, right, Othello loves Desdemona. Othello is a stranger. Othello is a foreigner. He is not Italian. And therefore, the Italian other characters, they don't feel easy for this type of relationship. Actually, they are envious from the relationship between Othello and Desdemona. So what exactly is introduced to us, right? One, okay, first thing, that Othello's first act is devoted to the exposition of Iago's hatred to Othello. So we are introduced to the major character called Iago and another major character called Othello, and Iago is Italian one and he hates Othello. The question why he hates Othello, this is actually a big question that requires a long time to answer. But some other people, they say that he hated them for a number of reasons. The first reason, his love to Desdemona. He did not think that a foreigner, a black foreigner, is good and adequate enough to get right in love with whom? With an Italian little girl. This is the first thing. The second reason, right, that Othello, as the leader of the army, was expected to appoint a lieutenant, an assistant to him. And when he appointed the assistant, he did not take Iago. He did not take Iago, and this is why Iago hates him. And some other people, they will say that there are rumors in Venice. Rumors, of course, this is not true, just rumors. That, okay, that Iago's wife is cheating him with, right, with Othello. And of course, he knows that this is not true, but even the rumor itself, it hurts his own pride. It hurts him, and this is why he hates whom? He hates Othello. But to tell you the truth, if we can say these are the only 3 reasons for hating Othello, we will be naive. We will be simple, because Iago is a complicated character, much more complicated character than the character of Hamlet himself. And whenever we come to analyze the character of Iago, we will find that his character is as complicated as Hamlet, and even more, and even more. And this person, Iago, I mean, like, cannot, be limited to 3 reasons for his own hatred of Othello. We cannot say that he hates him because he did not hire him as a lieutenant. We cannot say that he hates Othello because he loves Desdemona. No, these are not the 3 reasons that I just mentioned. They are not the only reasons, but there is something in his own nature that makes him a hateful person by nature. He hates, right, Othello for many reasons that we are going to discuss whenever we come to analyze his own character. Well, so what else is introduced to us during the exposition? So the first thing introduced to us, the major characters and the hatred of Othello, of Iago to Othello. The second thing which is introduced during the exposition is the love that goes on between Othello and Desdemona, or what we call it courtship, not love, right? And her elopement, that Desdemona's elopement with Othello and getting married to him, although she is young. She is only 18 years old. She is Italian. She's beautiful. And Othello is a Moor. Moor means from Morocco. He's Moorish, right? And he is old, and he is black, and therefore there is no kind of matching between both of them. And this is why, right, the other Italians, they felt that this relationship is a kind of a wrong relationship, or at least they were envious because of the relationship between Othello and Desdemona. The third thing introduced to us also is Parpantio's mistrust of Othello. And this is also complicated. Who is Parpantio? Parpantio is the governor of the city, and he is the father of Desdemona. And he is the one who is hiring Othello as the leader of the army. But although Parpantio hired Othello as the leader of the army, we find that he doesn't trust him. Right? The question is why? Simply, we can say that the reason, because he is a foreigner. He is a foreigner. This play, it has a lot of discrimination, a lot of discriminative attitude against Othello. And some people, they might say that even Shakespeare is discriminative. We are going to discuss this question later when we come to the themes of Othello. But Parpantio, we understand that this, although he is the governor, he is the ruler, and he is the one who hired Othello, yet he doesn't trust him, especially after he fell in love with his own daughter and his daughter eloped with him. The last thing introduced to us in the exposition, which is the war state between Italy and Turkey. Why this one is introduced to us? Because we have to understand the political situation at that time, that the Turks, during the Ottoman Empire, they referred to them as Turks. They were expanding into Europe, and there was a war with them. And the one who is leading the war against the Turks, it was Othello. There is a kind of irony, because Othello is an Arab. He is from Morocco, and he is supposed to be with the Turks, but instead he is with the Italians, leading their own army against the Turks. Well, so we know all these things together in Act 1. In Act 1, and this is what we call it the initiating action or what we call it the exposition. معايا يا بنات؟ هيا ايمن، انت فاتحه المايك. كيف سامعاني؟ تمام؟ في حاجه عندكم تسالوها اي شيء؟ لارا، ساره، اي حد يرد.
It's clear, doctor. I am Batul. It's clear.
اوكي فاين تمام. الان لو قطع الاتصال الان، بعود ارجع مع انتم، خليكم يعني موجودين على الخط، بعود بفتحه كمان مره لانه بيعطينا ل 40 دقيقه، و40 دقيقه مش مكفيانا، فلسه دوبنا احنا في الاولى. بتول ممتاز، خليكي معايا وتضلك ايش، اعملي لي باك اب حتى اي واحده من الاخوات بدها تظهر نفسها، ما عنديش اي مشكله. اما اذا يعني انتوا حرين، بس انا عشان احس انه في حد معايا وفاهم معايا. Okay, let's go to the rising action. When does the rising action start? In Act 2. Rising action, right, starts in Act 2, and it starts with what? That every one of them is making a move. And actually, all these movements, they are done by one person, Iago. Iago is making everyone to behave exactly as he really wants. We say Iago is a villain, a person who knows the nature of people, and he works on them to serve his own purposes. To serve his own purposes. It is exactly like the devil, right? That the devil, when insinuates for people that they think that they are doing things for their own sake, for their own enjoyment, but they don't know that they are actually doing the same acts required by the devil himself. And we can say Iago is understanding the nature of the people, and he works on the nature of these people in order to what? In order to serve his own cowardly purposes. Cowardly purposes. So we will find that, right, in Act 2, Iago responsible for most of the rising action. Most of the rising action. First, right, which is the first, what is his major plan? Major plan, I want to put Othello down. I want to destroy his fame. I want to make him, right, I want to finish him. Why? This is a big question. A big question, as I told you before. Some people, they are just hateful people. They wouldn't find a kind of joy when they find other people at ease. So they will make their life miserable in order to enjoy, right? So he plans to work revenge against Othello. And the question is, revenge. Revenge for what? Revenge for the 3 reasons that I told you. His love for what? For the stamina, for the rumor which is running in Venice, saying that he has a relationship with the wife of Iago, and for the 3rd reason, which is not taking him as his major lieutenant, his assistant. Not only that, but also because he hates him. Well, so he plans to revenge first, all right, through Cassio. Cassio, who is Cassio? He is the person, also he's in the army of Italy, and he is the one which was appointed as a lieutenant instead of what? Instead of Iago. And therefore, he wants to destroy Cassio and to destroy Othello as well. And to this end, right, he gets Cassio drunk. And he makes him get a fight with another person And for
Rodrigo.
this reason, getting drunk and making a fight, Othello fires him. And therefore, we find that he is happy, for he got rid of Cassio, but not yet. He is going to use Cassio for another purpose. What is that purpose? That he convinces him, this Cassio, that okay, you have to go to this dinner and tell her, please make Othello bring me back to my job. Of course, it seems that he cares about Cassio, but you know, he never cared about Cassio. He wanted Cassio to go to this domina, and then he will make Othello to be convinced that Cassio has a relationship to this domina. So he's not making any service to Cassio. He's using Cassio in order to convince Othello that this domina is cheating him. Is cheating him with Cassio, right? And of course, everything here is controlled by Iago's action, right? It leads inevitably to the climax. What is the climax, right? When Iago, when Othello believes that his wife is cheating him. We can say Othello is an Oriental person. And Oriental means that he's from the East. And the people from the East, they cannot stand their wives to cheat them. The most important thing to them is loyalty of the wife. And therefore, an Oriental man, when he feels that his wife is cheating him, actually is a kind of breaking the pride of the man. And this is why this was, Iago knew this, and he worked on it. And the climax reaches this point when he feels that his wife actually cheats him. In Shakespeare, the climax always occurs in act number 3. The climax of Othello comes in act 3, scene 3, when Iago succeeds convincing Othello that this domina is guilty of adultery. Of course, I'm not blaming Iago here. I blame Othello, because Othello is stupid. He doesn't think for himself. Why? Because simply she got married to you because she loves you. How come you believe that she might cheat you? This is because of what? Because of a tragic flaw in his own character that we will discuss. That Othello is not a normal man. He is a religious person. He is a military man. He doesn't know anything about the relations with women. And Iago convinced them that you have spent all your life in the army and you don't know anything about women, but I know how to deal with women, and especially the Venetian one. And he comes to the point by telling him the following, that she cheated upon her own father and she eloped with you. Why? Because she loves you, and now she is doing the same with you. She is actually cheating upon you, because this is the nature of the Italian women. Of course, as a foreigner, he would believe that this is the nature of Italian or the Venetian women. But this is a kind of stupidity that has no justification at all. Right? So by the end of the scene, when he is convinced that his wife is guilty of adultery, Othello vows that he is going to kill his own wife. And this is exactly what Iago wanted. He wanted him, right, to kill his own wife.
What does it mean, adultery?
The time is running, and I might be off for a while. هتخلص دقيقة وتطفي، هعاود افتح كمان مرة. ماشي الحال؟ فما حدش يبعد عن يطلع من اللقاء، بالكم معي. Okay, and this is the climax, or the tension is actually unbearable. The tension among the audience, because we will always wish that Othello will know the truth, but he is stupid enough to know the truth. He doesn't know